this done. Hopefully it's not too bad. Obviously, I'm not going to be staring at the camera the entire time. This dash doesn't seem to really hold this thing very, very well. Will that work? Who knows? Anyway, I got tagged in a video by a nice gentleman by the name of Trollforge. I don't know if that's his given name, but that's his YouTube channel name, Trollforge. He homesteads just outside of Ottawa, and he's a very interesting gentleman. I mean, I've watched a whole whack of his videos, and I think the first time that I kind of ran into him, I was watching a wild medicinal seed collection, type video, which that's right up my alley. Sorry, train tracks. We'll try and smooth this out a little. Anyway, it seems like an awesome guy, and he responded to somebody else that had asked him the 10 reasons why he wants to homestead, or why he homesteads, and then at the end of that, he can kind of tag, however many people that he'd like to tag, and for some reason I was one of them. So this is in response to Senior Trollforge. The number one reason why I want to homestead is nature. I am just constantly amazed by the systems that are in place that humans have absolutely nothing to do with, and most of us don't even really know they're going on. I mean, there's more life forms under the soil than there is above the soil, right? It's just, these are systems that work and have worked for, millions and millions and millions of years. And I find it amazing. I think if I was on a homestead, an acreage is sort of what we would call it, right? I mean, I don't know. I'd be able to continue to be a part of it, maybe a little bit more than in suburbia. So the number one reason would be nature. The number two reason is sort of circles back to the systems side of nature, is my continued interest in permaculture. Permaculture is basically, studying the systems of nature and how to work with them instead of trying to change everything to the human's desire, right? It's just remarkable to me what some basic principles can do from a regenerative, you know what I'm trying to say, regenerative standpoint. There's a couple of phenomenal documentaries out there. John Liu, what was the name of his? Was it Green Gold? And then there's Greening the Desert with Geoff Lawson. Stuff from Sepp Holzer. Who's the gentleman that does the holistic land management? Allan. I watch a bunch of this stuff, and it's just remarkable to me how putting terraces or swales or just slowing the water that's coming downhill on a property and spreading that water out, sinking that water down as far as you can go, so slowing it, spreading it, sinking it, what it can do for a landscape that is just degraded. Nothing can grow on it. The erosion is brutal because there's no plants, to stop the water coming down. It's just, it blows my mind. I mean, now, granted, I have a very, very small brain. It doesn't take a lot to blow it, but the whole premise of permaculture and conservation and reusing, I mean, I started getting into it about 3 years ago, and the number two reason why I want to homestead is because I want to continue my practical education in permaculture and start implementing. I've tried to around my house as much as I can, but I mean, that's whatever. I mean, it's a small chunk of land. It's good practice, smurfly it is, but I really want an acreage, for that. Third reason, I guess, would be self-sufficiency. The idea of going to a grocery store and purchasing all of our fresh produce, like we always have type of thing, is becoming less and less and less and less romantic to me. You don't know where the stuff was grown, you don't know who picked it, what it was grown in, what was sprayed on it. I mean, it's just, smile and nod your head, close your eyes, roll the dice. You got absolutely zero assurances as to what you're putting in your body or what you're putting in your family's body. So self-sufficiency, I mean, the thought of being able to grow 60-70% of the produce that you would, your family would eat in a year, like, whoo, I absolutely love it. It floats my boat. I mean, trying to be self-sufficient wherever possible. And I mean, I'm not talking about, I'd like to live 200 miles away from the nearest human being. It's not really what I mean. It's just, I think when you've got a little bit of space, I mean, you can have, this is going to roll into my next point, but you can have a bit of livestock. You can provide your egg consumption, your chicken consumption, a lot of your beef consumption. I mean, one cow butchered and put in the freezer, that's going to last a family of 4. I mean, depends on how much meat you eat, but I mean, 6 to 12 months. It's a very, very, very large animal. It'd be fantastic to know what it ate, how it lived, how its life was. Did it have a good life? Was it a happy cow? Or was it standing up to its teats in, its own excrement? Because I don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's not exactly the type of food that I want to eat or feed my family or friends. But, so self-sufficiency, that's on the list. What else we got? We're rolling into livestock. Pretty darn tough to have livestock around these parts. I mean, I've got to apply to have 4 chickens. I have to apply for a license to have 4 chickens. That's exciting stuff. It's the height of ridiculous regulation, I guess. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I would like to have a homestead that doesn't require an enormous amount of investment into machines. I understand that they're extremely handy. It's a fantastic human innovation, and everything has its time and its place. Fundamentally, I do everything as organic as I can. I don't find gasoline and oil and lubricants and penetrants and dielectrics. I just don't find all that stuff overly organic. And vehicles always, tractors, whatever, they always need maintenance. They cost a lot of money. They stink. They're loud. I just fell off the dash. I picture a homestead where, obviously, like there's going to be gardens, there's going to be this and that, and I'll get into that in a second, but I don't want to be the one working the land. I don't think that I have a good enough back to to be double digging and turning and whatever. That's not up my alley. I want animals to be able to do that for me. I've watched so many cool videos on multi-species rotational grazing, which is just so cool. I mean, a person will fence off a small paddock, small area of their land, and they'll put a couple, 3, 4, 10, whatever you got. They'll put some cattle in there, right? Some cows, and they'll go through and they'll eat down, whatever, just about everything. I mean, especially all the stuff that they like, right? So they're going to eat all that stuff down, and poop and pee and fertilize. You run some chickens through there in little chicken tractors, little contained units that you can move, right? They're going to go through, they're going to eat all the fly larvae, they're going to eat any of the undigested grains, they're going to spread all of that manure around, they're going to add their own manure, which is different, right? They're going to pick away at any weeds, unwanted plants, bugs, insects, the whole 9 yards. You throw a couple of pigs through there. They start rooting around. Now they're looking for roots. They're actually kind of tilling. They're like living tillers, right? That are smart, are fairly clean, and they give you a harvest at the end, right? So just by running different cycles of animals through a property, you can achieve everything that you would get optimally with machinery, but without any of the cost, any of the nowhere near as much cost. I mean, the animals aren't free, but at the end of the day, right? It's way cheaper than a tractor, and a tractor doesn't fertilize, right? So I mean, you're going to have to be spraying or buying chemicals. Well, that's not up this guy's plan. So I'd like to have some livestock. So obviously, an acreage would help with that, or a homestead. Probably the biggest thing that I want is I'd love to run a market garden. I love growing, and that's all that is. It's just growing, selling to restaurants, selling to CSAs, family, friends, neighbors. Everybody gets good food, and it's something that I love to do. So obviously it's very, very difficult. Curtis Stone, the urban farmer out in Kelowna, has done extremely well running market gardens off of people's properties. I just find in my area, like, we don't have lots that big. I mean, like, I'm just looking around. I'm over at Shane's place here. We're gonna go do some weeding, and you couldn't do a market garden in lots these big. So anyway, that's one of the main reasons why I want a homestead. Following that into, I also want a nursery. The art of propagation. Is unbelievable. The fact that you can take a plant, a tree, a shrub, and you can turn it into 10, 20, 30 more plants like that for free just by practicing and learning how to propagate. Root division's simple. Stem cut.